garden and our side gardens over here. So no house is complete without hanging baskets, of course. Something to kind of spruce up the front a little bit. So these two trees or shrubs, most people that come and visit our house, they don't actually realize that they're blueberries. And no, I don't know what kind of variety they are. I was literally driving down the road and they were pulling them out of the ground, just ripping them out. And I asked them if I could have them. They said yes. So I brought my truck back and they loaded them up and we pulled them into the spots where they are with the 3 other guys. And if you take a look at them, and if you don't believe me that they are blueberries, you can take a look at them right here. And believe it or not, our daughter climbs up these branches right here and starts picking to her heart's delight. And if you look at them, they're just about taller than our house. So our house is about 11 to 12 feet tall. So I'm guessing they're about just over 12 feet tall. And in the mid-season, when the berries are ripening, the branches, I'm not kidding you, are down like this because they're so heavy. But one nice thing about this garden bed is if you look at it, the blueberries are up here. And then when we get lower, you can see the ground is pretty much covered by different plants. We have wild alpine strawberries over here. We have some volunteer nasturtiums coming up over there. Some irises that we just kind of let them do their own thing. We have winter heather that we've never trimmed, and obviously you can see it's looking a little ragged. And then we have a plant which I can't remember the name of, but I'm sure someone will be able to help me out with that. And we've got some more irises over there. And we've got nasturtiums coming into this garden bed from the one that we're going to go take a look at over next. So let's go take a look at this garden bed behind these blueberries. So over in this garden bed, you can see we've got asparagus growing right here. We actually moved it last year from the front one because we just weren't happy with it, with the location. And the funny thing is about us, well, I should say about our family, is my wife grew up in Russia. And my in-laws, they have a huge asparagus patch. But they actually never eat it. They grow it for the foliage. They just like the foliage on the asparagus. So we actually haven't harvested ours. We could have probably done it. We probably could have taken a couple spears this year, but we just left it. We just left it for the foliage. So if you look over here, we actually have a volunteer tomato. They are basically like weeds in our climate. I don't know what kind it is, but it looks kind of half decent, so I've decided to leave it for now. And we have a small little peony. And we've got a massive nasturtiums. So we had planted these here a couple years ago. I don't remember exactly when, but they've come back pretty much every year. And we just kind of let them be. We have an azalea planted over there. We planted it and it's happy. We'll take that one with us too. And then we have an apple tree that we picked up last year. This is supposed to be a semi-dwarf apple tree, but we noticed after we got it home, the top was cut off. So it's not going to actually be growing any taller than this. It's just going to be growing out. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what this will do over the years. And then in this patch over here, we have artichokes. So some of these artichokes are volunteers from the mother plant, and the others overwintered. So the ones that overwintered sent off little artichoke babies, and they multiplied through the plants that way. And then we just had more artichokes. So these ones here, I don't really mulch, I don't really do anything with because they're protected by the overhang here, and they do quite well being overwintered. So I just finished explaining about the artichokes, but I would like to address this big mound of cardboard boxes that we have right here. So as I did explain a little bit earlier in the video, that we are moving. We're planning to move. We're moving in roughly about 1 month. So we are planning to take pretty much all our perennial plants with us. We will be leaving some annuals and some of the plants we just plainly don't like. Shh, don't tell them that though, of course, all right? They'll find out on moving day. So it's not like we're hoarders. It's not like we're doing anything nefarious. It's just we're in the middle of packing right now. So you'll have to excuse the mountain of boxes. So this bed here, we grew garlic in it this year. And then after I pulled out my garlic, I planted lettuce here, a lettuce mix right here, and a slightly different type of lettuce mix right here also. And I planted dill over there. You can see I seeded it very heavily just from that. The reason I did that is because we're going to come in with scissors and we're going to cut them and we're going to harvest them as they're small greens, just kind of like that. And then we'll use them up and we'll thin them out like this. So beside this bed, we originally had blueberries here, but we took them out last fall and we plan to put zucchini in here as we did. I've got about 5 different plants in, I think they're a 2.5 by 8 foot bed, and they're actually doing really well. If you take a look right here, I've got a couple zucchini on this plant, and I've got a monstrous one right over here. And no, don't ask me how many zucchini that we've harvested this year. I've already lost count, and we're not even halfway through zucchini season. So you can see our grass is kind of longer. You can see that there's got weeds in it. But honestly, we do that purposely. We do that for the insects. We do that for the ecosystem. If you have short grass, you're not going to be having the birds. You're not going to be having the insects that are going to be supporting your ecosystem that you would have on longer grass. You're not going to have hiding places for crickets. You're not going to have hiding places for beetles and things like that. All those little things, that's what contributes to a very healthy garden. So now let's go take a look at our daughter's garden beds. Ready? So here we have potato buckets. This is how I grow potatoes. The reason I like doing them like this is because if I grow them in pots like this, I don't have to worry about losing a potato later on. Because we all know if you plant a potato once in the ground, you have it forever. So if you take a look at it, you can tell they could probably use a little bit of water. Honestly, I'm horrible at watering pots. Every year, my tomato harvest could probably be way better than what it was, but I'm just horrible at watering pots. There's a reason our whole garden is on irrigation. But if you took a look at the way I've done it, I've put a 4-inch pipe in the middle, and then I've drilled holes in it like this. And then I've filled up the middle of the pipe with rocks. So then when I'm watering, the water is going to come in here and it's going to trickle out all the holes throughout the pot. So even though when the pot is chock full of potatoes and really dry and everything, it's still going to be able to be watered. Because in the first year I tried to grow potatoes in a pot like this, the potatoes' roots went everywhere and the soil became so fibrous with them, I wasn't actually able to get any water in them. So this way I can still water them and I can still grow them in pots and I can pretend I water them. We'll call it that. So over here we have a sandbox. Well, I should say former sandbox that our daughter used to play in. When she got older, she kind of outgrew digging in sand, so we converted it into a garden bed for her. We took out all the sand, and we've grown carving pumpkins in here. We've grown some sunflowers, and this year we're doing peppers. Almost, basically, the only reason we're doing peppers is because we just didn't have time to plant other stuff earlier this spring, and we didn't want to leave her garden bed bare. But when we will be moving, we will be digging up these peppers, putting them in pots, and taking them with us. So this is another one of my daughter's garden beds. In here, this is one tomato plant. Her experiment this year was to grow an indeterminate tomato without pruning it and without trench planting it. So you can see how big these vines are here. The vines come from there, I've trellised them over there, and now they're going up. I actually need to come and tie this one a little bit more up there, just so it doesn't topple over. And you can see throughout the whole plant, there's flowers here, flowers here, flowers there. This is a prime example of what happens when you don't prune your indeterminate tomato. But you know what? It's going to be a great experiment, so we can see what's going to happen versus this one here and versus the ones that I'm growing that I prune quite religiously. So over here, we would have what our old salad bed used to be. It's no longer really our salad bed. It's kind of been taken over by Jerusalem artichokes. Fair warning, never plant them in your garden. They're like potatoes. You plant them once, you have them forever. We do have some chives back there still. And we've got some garlic. I think some garlic chives over there. Yeah, garlic chives over there and regular chives over there. You can see that they're kind of not doing too well. This bed is kind of being pushed to the wayside due to a couple things. And we have actually a black currant growing here. And again, I just want to show you. So this isn't even in the best soil. And this right here, this green growth right here would be the growth from this year. You can see how it's dark here and then it gets lighter. You can always tell the new growth by how flexible it is too. So we have one black currant there and one currant there. And we have remains of a rhubarb that we were actually digging up trying to get rid of because honestly we just don't use it. We don't need it ourselves. So let's go see our tomato bed, our blueberry bed, our terrace garden bed. Let's go see our raspberry patches. And let's go see the greenhouse now.